right, well, the next part of our novel night is we'll be hearing from one of our stalwart Malvernians, Schandra, and she's going to be doing a book talk for you, so you can hear a little about what she's saying.
So for our book talks, one of us Malvernians picks a novel from our collection to talk to you about. The novel I picked is called The Passion According to G.H. by Ukrainian-Brazilian writer Clarice Lispector. And I wrote a little thing for you all about it. But I have a surprise at the end, so I'm afraid of that. There we go. Okay. American writer Benjamin Moser, in his biography on Clarice Lispector, called the Ukrainian native the greatest Jewish writer since Franz Kafka, and the New York Times hailed her as the premier Latin American woman prose writer of the 20th century. Clarice, born in 1920, came to Brazil as an infant when her family fled the chaos of post-World War I Ukraine. Though much of her adult life was spent abroad in the United States and Europe, Clarice spent her early years and final days in her beloved Rio, where she produced much of her great body of works. The Passion According to G.H., her epic mystic novel, was published in 1964, well into her writing career and 13 years before she lost her life to ovarian cancer in 1977. Of all of her works, Clarice believed that this novel best corresponded to her demands as a writer. In this new edition of The Passion, edited by Benjamin Moser and published by New Directions in 2012, Caetano Veloso, one of Brazil's foremost musicians, takes on the nearly impossible task of describing this novel in its introduction. He writes, "It's not a story that leads the reader to philosophical thought, and it's not a philosophical treatise that needs a story to convey them. Instead, it is a vivifying experience that leads a person to the most ambitious philosophical discoveries. But unlike her other works, though his favorite, Veloso found The Passion to be consciously unbeautiful. This is indeed a story which defies summarization. Exactly two things actually happen in terms of action, but it is the contemplation that comes between the two plot points, or what the title character, the only character, the well-to-do young Brazilian sculptress G.H. calls the thing between the number 1 and the number 2, the note between two notes of music, that makes the incredibly shocking second action, which I won't spoil for potential readers, as acceptable to the reader as the first action, the inciting incidents of squashing a roach in a wardrobe. What is most unique about this piece of existentialist prose is its voice, ringing loudly and clearly feminine, and thereby broadening the perspective of a brand of fiction, the philosophical novel, largely dominated by male writers of male characters. G.H. accomplishes, in one realist room, in one realist afternoon, a metamorphosis that required Gregor Samsa a number of days and a good helping of magical realism. In just 189 pages, she journeys through the kind of hell, purgatory, and heaven Dante took 3 books to explore. And by spilling only the white matter of a roach, she experiences what took Camus' Meursault, the spilling of the red blood of a man, the terrible primal thrill of the kill. She crosses a desert without so much as crossing the social normative boundary of the domestic threshold, and comments on life and death in the way only a woman, a vessel for the creation of life, can. Only she knows what it is to be a female existentialist in an existence codified by male lovers, male rulers, and male gods. And her voice is also that of an artist. G.H. is above all else a sculptor of things, all things. Her apartment is the idea of an apartment, her life the idea of a life, perfectly carved as if she had freed it all from marble. Even her bread at breakfast is rolled into perfect spheres before consumption. What brings her to the breaking point of this mystic crisis is her overzealous carving of herself. She has cut so much away in the curation of G.H., she has reached the natural nucleus, a state so primordial it is the roach she smashes in the wardrobe. Along this journey, the reader is her willing, sometimes unwilling companion. G.H. has imagined a disembodied hand to hold, and you know that that hand is yours. You are usually her lover, for a page her mother, and for a moment her doctor. And through the tedium and stagnation of setting, you become eager to let go, to let her drift, and just when you think you might, she convinces you to stay. I know it's bad to hold my hand, she says. It's bad to be left without air in that collapsed mind where I brought you without mercy on you, but out of mercy on me. But I swear I'll get you out of here still alive. And just when you can't believe you ever considered leaving, she begs you to let her go on alone. And it is easy to forget that this is a work in translation, that the writer Idra Novis struggled, without the help of a living reference, to capture both the literal and the lyrical of Clarice's Portuguese and English. Each chapter reads like a single breath, the final line of one becoming the first line of another, and words like neutral and nothing take on meanings you never thought they could. Novi translates beautifully the subtlety of distinction between my life and alive and life with a capital L. And as she states in her translator's note, Clarice's strange alternating use of God versus the God. The Passion, according to G.H., is a puzzle of a book, but it is worth puzzling over. To borrow its final line, I adore it. We carry a number of Clarice Lispector's novels besides this one, and as an added bonus, when I say this book is a puzzle, I mean it literally. Thank you.